Hello, everybody. This is Julie Finkelstein from the Read and Discuss with Success event. We do this every week, and you're welcome to join us. Today, we're reading and discussing a book that helps us manifest our visions in reality, and it's called Drawing Solutions by Patti Dobrowlski. It's a great book, and we always vote on what to read after one book is finished, and this was unanimously accepted as the book to read. There are exercises for you to do, and it's very simple. And there's also a TED Talk by Patti Dobrowlski. It's called Draw Your Future, and it's wonderful. I highly recommend that. So thank you. We'll start now. Today we're on page 31. And on the online session is on a certain number, but it's under Explore Your Options. Maybe Wendy can start with what number that is.
Yes, for me, it's location 504. Explore your options. Once you have had a chance to work through what's in your way, it's time to help prepare yourself for looking at what you want to do next. The question of what is going to happen next is unknown and possibly risky, but it is also a huge opportunity. If you are in fight or flight mode, you won't be able to take charge of what is happening. Fight or flight response, a term first coined by Walter Bradford Cannon, is an acute stress response that helps protect you against something fearful, like a charging animal that wants you for dinner, causing you to either stand and fight or run for your life. Fearful or new situations can elicit this response and interrupt your ability to think clearly when taking action or making decisions. You simply react, and that is not a particularly effective way to create positive change. Women under stress do not always experience the fight or flight response in this way due to hormonal differences. The UCLA study conducted in 2003 showed women under stress elicit a tend or befriend response. Women characteristically reach out and gather those nearest and dearest, nurture self and help those in need, even if strangers. This response can also be a distraction if you spend too much time processing what you've been doing and not focusing on your options moving forward. Exploring your options means just that, looking at all the things you could be doing now and in the future instead of what you've been doing in the past. Exercise, exploring your options. This next exercise is going to help set you up for success in the mapping process. Start by taking a blank sheet of paper and listing all the things you already know that exist as future possibilities. Make sure you capture a little detail around them, such as the pros and cons of each of these options from your perspective. Then flip your paper over. On the backside, you are going to pretend you are someone else, someone you admire, or an imaginary you who is not limited by time and space, or financial constraints. All things you have already listed on the other side of your paper are your in-the-box ideas. Now it's time to get out of your own mind's box. Close your eyes briefly to block out any stimulation from your surroundings. Imagine someone taking your hand and beginning to write what is best for you right now. What will stretch you in a new direction and bring you out of your pattern. Write across the top of the paper. Show me my next step. Then let your hand start writing, beginning with anything that comes to you. It might start off with, "This is stupid." Keep writing. Keep asking the questions. What do you want me to do? What is my next step? What can I do now that's more in line with my true purpose? If there is a better step for me, what is it? Keep writing until you have at least 3 pages of ideas. Then go back and circle the ones that seem interesting to explore. Identify which of these you may want to focus on in your map. Keep ready for when you imagine your desired new reality in the next chapter. Exploring your options is a freeing activity that shifts you out of the known into the unknown. In the unknown, there are new truths to be found about yourself, capabilities, and what could become new beliefs. The experience of creating a new world for yourself, despite how you came to this moment in time, will be much more pleasant if you can keep pushing yourself into the unfamiliar to find what is right for you now. What rises to its own level? How high can you rise as you explore what is possible for you? All right, I'll stop here.
Okay. Oh, it looks like we could finish this. Practicing the new you. You have explored and uncovered what was said about the changes you're experiencing. Now you'll find you have new information and perhaps a better understanding of a pattern or what has been driving a particular choice. To create something new in your world takes ingenuity, which includes unfamiliar action steps. And as they say, practice makes perfect. A colleague mentioned this in passing about his newly formed relationship. His partner told him he had never before asked for what he wanted in his relationships. It had not even felt like an option. I thought about it for a moment and then asked if he wanted any suggestions. He did, so I offered. You might practice having your partner ask for something he wants from you every few days. It will help him anchor the feeling into his body and create a new pathway in his brain. Practice how you would like to behave before you get into something new. The brain is wired in such a way that you don't even have to practice the behavior outwardly for it to imprint. You can practice it over and over again in your mind. Your brain cannot distinguish what is real and what is imaginary. To me, this is the beauty of understanding the new brain science and how your brain works. It gives you the freedom to prepare using your imagination for what you will experience in reality. Actors review the lines and the internal beats of a scene over and over again until they can routinely hit the emotional mark at the right moment. With that knowledge firmly embedded in their bodies, they feel secure that they can always be in the right state of mind when performing. And if they were to lose their line on stage, they could still retain the core emotion of the scene. While you might mentally forget the process of staying curious and inquisitive when things get strained, practicing your desired behavior ahead of time will help you make a different choice. Take a deep breath and then imagine yourself successfully controlling your emotions during a potentially difficult interaction. When that moment occurs in reality, you will be surprised to find that you can actually respond the way you practice in your mind. Changing behavior takes both inner and outer practice, but with enough effort, it can happen automatically. A final plug for visuals. New brain discoveries are happening all the time, and one fact is often repeated. Your brain will remember the emotional components of experience better than any aspect of the details. As time goes, you will recall only the gist of things. Quote by Betty Edwards. The new drawing on the right side of the brain. At least part and perhaps much of what we see is changed, interpreted, or conceptualized in ways that depends on a person's training, mindset, and past experiences. We tend to see what we expect to see or what we decide we have seen. This expectation or decision, however, often is not a conscious process. Instead, the brain frequently does the expecting and deciding without our conscious awareness, and then alters or rearranges or even simply disregards the raw data of vision that hits the retina. Learning perception through drawing seems to change this process and to allow a different, more direct kind of seeing. The brain's editing is somehow put on hold, thereby permitting one to see more fully and perhaps more realistically. The new way of seeing may alone be reason enough to learn to draw. That was great. Part 1 has given your brain context and shown where to tune in and prepare for what you are about to do. Because the brain will lose details over time, what will keep the process locked into your long-term memory are the pictures or symbols you create to augment or replace the words you will use. Those images will give the ideas and content of your map's emotional charge. That charge is what will help you prepare you away from the things you want to let go of and toward those things you desire. Remember, if you find yourself resisting the idea of using pictures, think of whence you came. The first recorded language was visual, as in cave drawings. Visuals are part of your DNA. Once you relax and use them, you will see how the pictures can guide and inspire you. It's time to get them working for you. Okay, that's it for part 1. So I think we can stop here and start the discussion.
All right.
Do you want to go?
Sure. It's funny because every so often I'm on this site called Allison. It can take all different courses. It's for free unless you pay for the certificate or diploma that they offer. But this week I've been doing different forms of communication, including drawing and visual and listening and that kind of thing. So this kind of ties into that, which is, it's not just about speaking or writing, it's drawing and images and sound and listening and that kind of thing, etc.
Can you send me the link for those classes? They might be very interesting for me as well.
Yeah, okay.
It'd be really great. Thanks. Yeah. And you know what? They say that drawing is very important, and I imagine it is because I was reading this book by Dan Rohn, drawing on the back of the napkin, and he has a lot of other books. He has an online website, online class too. I think it's like 20. There were 2 options, but anyways, he talks about the importance of visuals too. I think that sound is I think all our senses are important. Sound is important and taste is important. But the thing about drawing is, according to Dan Rohn, that it's 50 to 70%, I don't remember the exact number, of our sensory processing. 70% of our sensory processing relates to visuals. So in effect, then when we do something visual, like drawing or even writing words, we're activating a large part of our brain. And the other thing that, people don't talk about, but which is why I like to do this group collaboration things, I think the energy of a group also helps things to become more memorable, and the more possibilities open up because there's more people working on the same thing.
I just saw your drawings.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They're very personal, this one, but that's what came up when I was actually on Tuesday. I was, once a month, I'm part of this group that I'm invited to do meditations with the group, facilitate meditations for a group in the library. So it's about meditation without dogma, without religious teachings. And this week's theme for me was gratitude. So that's where gratitude came through. It was very interesting. Thank you. The other thing I thought that was very interesting in today's exercise, and maybe you can tell me how you feel about it, was to do a 2-step process. Like first write down, if you're looking for a visualization, first write down everything you know, and then turn the page over, and then go into meditation and bring in like people you admire or people who support you, and then remove those limitations, whatever they are, and see what comes through. I thought that was really a great idea. What did you think about that?
I mean, this is interesting. Well, that kind of ties into what I was saying before. There's all different ways to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. So like when you do, I know you write, right? Do you write? Do you write regularly, or do you just write when you feel like it?
When something comes to me.
Something that comes to you. Okay. And I know you write articles and you write poetry because we read some of your poetry, right? So that kind of helps with unleashing out what's possible, also, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Great. Okay, that's all I have to share. Maybe we can just go into. Do you have anything else to say?
No.
Okay, then let's go into the next step, and we'll just end a little early. Do you want to
Sure.
do your commitments?
Yeah. Well, I've got the exterminator coming this week, so that's one. And other than that, it's just the usual yoga and exercise and reading and health stuff and research and studying, and that's it.
Great. Okay, so I am going to look at apartment.com this week. I am going to do the set and unset exercise. And I'll do the other exercise too, which is the make a list of options consciously, and then do the unconscious. Continue to be nice to Hub. That's number 4. That's it. Oh, one more. I have to do exercise.
Okay.
Exercise. Okay, that's it. Okay, I'm gonna turn the broadcast off, and then I'll have right now stop broadcast.